What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Progress Always podcast. And I'm here with my dude, Kirk Artman, the creator of the digital automation diagram. And as I have experienced him, the AI DJ. We met at the AI Surfer workshop with Vision Espresso, Nico's brainchild, and became very fast friends. Found out that we have a lot of overlapping circles from like years and versions of ourselves past.
Yeah,
and
weird stuff. Skydiving.
Dude, you're the tale of leaving Reno and making your way to Scottsdale and doing all the things that you're doing now in the AI universe. Like, we'll get there, because on the back end of our conversation and being in that room, we launched the AI integration for our alignment assessment. And dude, it is changing the game in our coaching practice. I want to dive into that with you for sure. Nice. But really quick, man, take as long as you want. I find it genuinely interesting how you go from DJ to skydiving internationally and teaching wind tunnels, and now you're in AI automation, man. Walk me through it. This is fascinating to me.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I mean, this is all part about, all part of what I teach is how do we do it? How do we do the thing? What is the thing? It's the meaning of life, all this stuff. How do we form the best version of ourselves? And ultimately it is, what's the goal? The point of everything is making a good living, getting enough money, being happy so that we can do what we want. A lot of conversations come up about needs and wants and what do we need versus what we want. How do we streamline all these things? And ultimately, if you can ask yourself, what do you want? That's it. What do you want? Go get that. Do the things that it takes. Make the steps it takes to go get that thing. And that's game over. You've already won. So what I want, I want to do everything. I want to do everything there is to do, right? And so that has led my life down some crazy paths. Ultimately getting out of high school, I just started getting what I want, doing whatever I wanted. I started traveling. I hitchhiked across the country, 15,000 miles back and forth all over the place, just because I could, just because I wanted to. Started traveling in that way, and that showed me a lot of like the back end of society, the real meet, the real interesting things about the world, especially, traveling across the United States. I got to see a lot of interesting stuff here in the US, but traveling the world, all that stuff. So, I mean, first and foremost, I want to do everything. And so every jump I've ever made has been to achieve that goal. People look at me from the outside and it's like, well, you're all over the place. You need to focus. You need to focus. I've been focused since birth. Yes. I want to do everything. That's the goal. So, skydiving, right? We talked about that. That's how we met. We know a couple of the same people, just, your background, my background, having those circles. That's so weird that we ended up in the same place, and then we sat next to each other and said hello. So skydiving stuff, right? That came after being a DJ. Being a DJ came after being an artist. That's ultimately what I went to school for. I started traveling.
Artist in the music sense?
Artist, art, painting.
What was your medium? Okay, yeah. Cool.
Painting. Yeah, so I studied art. My fallback going to college, I was always like, well, I want to do everything. Therefore, I don't want to study. I don't want to do anything in college. The best thing I can do is just be myself. And I am an artist. That's, if I could, label myself, I say I'm a creative person. I'm an artist. And so I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to do the thing. And that means if I ever need a fallback, I'll have this art background. I can be an art teacher. Worst comes to worst, I can do what I love for a living, right?
Right.
So art, that led me into creative avenues. I studied art, and the more I became an artist, I learned, holy crap, this sucks. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this at all.
What was it about being an artist that you fell out of love with?
This is actually my whole segue my whole conversation that leads into AI stuff, right?
Okay.
Full circle, beginning and end. Why are we
Okay.
doing what we're doing? And
Yeah.
so ultimately, I call myself a creative person. I am an
Mhm.
artist. Therefore, doing art for money felt wrong. I
Got
am
it.
that. I'm selling myself. I hated it. I hated it so much, right?
Mhm.
And so that's what a lot of creative people struggle with. Well, you want to be creative. That's your passion.
Mhm.
To succeed in this life doing your passion, you have to sell that passion. You have to sell your art, your music, whatever.
Right.
And ultimately, selling your passion leads down another dark path, potentially, hopefully
Mhm.
not. You
Yeah.
get, you get these situations that arise where you're like, oh man, I hate the thing that I love. I've been there
Mhm.
a couple times, but so hated selling art for money. That's what I am. That's what I do. So that was
Yeah.
just like, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna start doing music now.
Okay.
So I played music. I always, I want to do everything. So I learned so many instruments as a child, young adult, and so I just started playing music. Got in some bands, started playing music on my own. That led to producing music, recording music, then actually producing electronic music. Natural progression, became a DJ
Okay.
and started touring around. Like the DJ thing was blowing up. It was so much fun. I love being on stage. I don't know. I'm a lush, whatever. Call me, call me an attention whore, whatever. I love being
Yeah.
on stage and I love telling people what to do. So DJ was like perfect. Travel,
Ha
be on stage and tell people how to move their bodies. I can hit a button, change a
Yeah.
song and people, their whole attitude changes. It was super fun.
Yeah.
Um,
How
so I got,
how how like energetically moving from such an isolated medium in terms of painting where it's just you by your lonesome, and then when you feel that it's done, and it probably, even when you take it to market, it's probably still unfinished in your mind, to like, I'm gonna create this thing. And when you're doing a set, you're creating in the moment in
yeah.
front of God and everybody. I'm genuinely curious. What is that shift like for you energetically?
Yeah. I mean, the energy is a huge part of it. So ultimately, in the art world, it's very collaborative as well. In fact,
Okay.
if you're not collaborative, you won't succeed. So, I got the same kind of energy, but or the same kind of exposure to people. The same kind
Mhm.
of potential for energy exchange. But that was the key difference. The energy exchange in the art world was
Mm.
very. Um, Not me, I guess,
Okay.
just not me. And so ultimately, same situation happened in music where I got to a point, I got to this middle fame level
Okay.
where you're starting out, all you can go, the only direction you can go is up, right?
Mhm.
Then there's the middle fame level, then there's the high level where, high level fame, you're famous, do whatever you want,
Yeah.
go anywhere, do whatever you want.
Right.
Middle fame is like, okay, you have enough experience, skill, renown to be known, but that means all of these people are trying to stab you in the back, take your place, ruin you to get to where you are.
Crabs in a
Just
bucket.
cutthroat, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of businesses that are cutthroat. So when you talk about music industry, oh, this and that, like I experienced the music industry
Okay.
in all of its flavors, and then I was done. Next thing, I got so many things to do. I'm done with
Yeah.
this one. Let's move on. So
Okay.
yeah. So ultimately, what we talked about that led me into the skydiving venture, music, Austin, Texas, started the skydiving thing, indoor skydiving, whole new world. That
So
was just, so many different lifetimes.
so when you got fucked over in Austin on your, do we want to call it a residency? Is that
Yeah.
okay?
hmm
In with that residency, uh and you just, in that moment, you're like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go,
Yep.
I'm not gonna pursue this somewhere else. I'm not gonna, fuck
Exactly.
you, prove you wrong. I'm out. Is it
Exactly. I
was that
think that's,
a is that you
yeah.
just reading the tea leaves? The season of my life is over? Was it like just bitter, like I can't do this anymore? Like what was
Yeah.
that line in the sand, that like, what is the emotion behind the decision?
Exactly. Yeah. I teach, this is another thing, along the lines of what I teach people now to this day is, what do you want in life?
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals? Where do you draw the line of, you have a to-do list, get groceries, pay bills, whatever, simple to-do list. Well, what is the line of saying that item is finished that I can check off my to-do list? Where is that line?
Mm-hmm.
When you've spent 10 years mastering it, or when you've got to a level where you feel good enough to feel accomplished, right? Where's that
Yep.
line? And so I hit that
Mm-hmm.
line in music. I
Okay.
got to that middle fame. And I was like, yeah, I did it. Like, check, let's go.
Okay. Got it. And then so you're on the road back to California. You're gonna go like see what comes next for you, and you
Yeah.
literally off the side as I remember you telling the story. Look
Yeah.
off the side of the highway. There's an iFly, and you're like, you walk in, and that is the impetus for your skydiving career
That's
with
it. Yeah.
0 jumps.
Zero skydives. Yep. Zero
Tell me.
jumps. I checkbox, music industry is done. I told you I literally jumped on my motorcycle. I didn't have very many belongings because still traveling really heavy back then. So
Mhm.
didn't have any belongings. I had a backpack and my motorcycle, and I jumped on my motorcycle and I was like, fuck Texas, fuck music, I'm out. I'm literally riding into the sunset, riding west on the highway, and I passed by iFly Austin. And I was like, oh, what's that? That looks weird. That building's really tall and weird looking. I'm going to go in there.
Mhm.
And indoor skydiving, what is that? So I walk in there and I see these people flying up and spinning around and doing flips. And, the tunnel itself, if you've seen an iFly facility, they're, 55 feet, 60 feet of tube. So people blasting up and down and then diving straight down. I was like, oh my gosh, I got nothing to do. I want to do this.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I want to do this now.
Mhm.
So I went downstairs. It's a 3-story building. I went downstairs to the front desk and I was like, I want to work here. And they're like, oh, haha, yeah, cool. Everybody says that. I'm like, no. Like, what do I got to do? I was like, well, it's 2 girls at the front desk. And I was like, just tell me what I got to do. All right, we'll
Mhm.
go get the manager. So the manager comes out and is like, yeah, so I'm going to work here. What do I need to do? And he's like, well, I mean, no, you can't just work here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm gonna work here. So what should I do? Right.
Mhm.
He's like, well, you can't. I mean, we just hired people. I can't just hire you. I'm like, you're not understanding me. I'm going to be working here. So what are the steps I need to take to achieve that? What do I need to do? And he's like, oh, I mean, I don't know, come in for an interview, I guess.
Mhm.
So a couple days later, I didn't leave, right? I stayed in Austin. A couple days
Okay.
later, ride back on my motorcycle and had really long hair. I'm kind of growing it back out right now, but I had really long hair at the time. I walk in there and I take my helmet off, and I pulled my crumpled up resume, never had a real job resume, and I unfold it and I pull it, throw it across the table. I'm like, so that's not up to date, but let's talk about what I can do. And they're just looking at me like, what is this guy? Yeah, you're hired. Who are you? You're hired. So I ended up, I got the job there, started working there, got trained up, learned everything. Basically all my trainers were like, you're never going to get this. You're an idiot. You should leave. And I'm like, you don't understand that this is what I'm doing now. There is no option. I
Yeah.
want to do everything and I didn't know this was a thing, so now I got to do it. So ultimately, long story short, 10 years in the business, right? I became a skydiver. I was 4 years in the wind tunnel before I ever did my first skydive. So my very first skydive out of an airplane, I jumped out by myself, no tandem, right? I jumped out by myself, pulled my own parachute by myself
Oh my
and
god.
learned how to skydive. So pretty cool,
What
pretty cool stuff.
the dynamic between the wind tunnel and I've only jumped out of planes. I've got 3, maybe 4 jumps. All
Yeah,
tandem,
you're a skydiver.
all tandem.
Doesn't matter. You jumped. That's
Yeah.
good.
Uh, Free fall out of a plane versus the wind tunnel is the dynamic. what's the same, what's different?
Yep. So physics are exactly the same. It's exactly the same. So, people say, oh, it's a skydiving simulation. No, it's not even a simulation. It is actually free fall. You're given this illusion when you see people do it and they're just hovering at, waist level. They're just hovering there. Oh, they're just floating. It feels like floating. It feels like zero gravity. You're just floating. No. You've jumped out of a plane. You know that doesn't quite feel like floating.
Right.
Doesn't feel like falling. That's one of the biggest misconceptions about skydiving. To the average
Correct.
person, does not feel like you're falling.
That's
It's the same forces.
I want to hang out here real quick. That's such an interesting distinction. You're not floating, but you don't feel like you're falling.
Don't feel like you're falling. Yeah.
So from your perspective, with 10 years in the business, like, I know what you're talking about, but put that into words.
Exactly.
What is the difference between
I can tell
not
you.
floating, but you don't feel like you're falling either?
Yeah, I can tell you all the physics at play, all the stuff. So think about it like this: like roller coasters, super scary. You make that drop, your heart leaps, you clenching everything. You're falling.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Like most skydivers don't like roller coasters. In fact, most skydivers don't even like climbing a ladder. They don't like heights. Okay. So huge misconception that skydivers are daredevils. No, they're not necessarily daredevils. They're just a bunch of crazy people.
Yeah. Right.
There's just a bunch of crazy people. Okay. So what's actually happening? Think about it like this. If you're in your car and you speed up and you're speeding on the freeway, you're going 120 miles an hour on the freeway. You're going fast. Does it feel like you're going 120 miles an hour on the freeway? It feels like you're in your car. It feels like you're sitting there.
Right.
And because cars don't necessarily, the average vehicle, well, maybe the average vehicle can't make it to 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But the average vehicle
you're using
cannot
numbers like somebody who rides a
accelerate.
motorcycle.
Yeah, exactly. 120 on the freeway.
Yeah. Easy. No problem.
The average vehicle can't accelerate that fast. So the G forces, the gravitational forces, the G forces put on your body doesn't feel it when you start speeding up into cars real slow, and then you end up going, 80 miles on the freeway, and you don't feel like you're going 80 miles. So what's happening out of the airplane? Okay, the airplane is traveling at flight speed. When you jump out of the airplane, you're now traveling at flight speed. You're already at speed, like you're in your car at speed. And then you start changing the direction of that speed. Instead of going forward, you're just going down. So you never feel like you're falling. You're already moving. If you were to jump out of a helicopter, that's something different. You're completely still. Now you're falling until you reach that terminal speed, terminal velocity. What's happening at terminal velocity is gravity's pulling you down, and the force of wind, the atmosphere, the static air hitting you is at such a force that now you're sandwiched between the forces, and no gravitational forces are being put on you anymore. The wind is pushing back, and so you have zero G forces put on your body.
Okay.
Does not feel like you're falling. The only sensation is sensory overload. The wind is hitting you. Imagine standing under a waterfall. Okay. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of water hitting you. It's that same sensation. It's the wind hitting you. That's why people freak out. It's not falling. It's, oh my God, just being hit.
Yeah. Okay. Holy shit. I never thought about it like that. And
exactly.
And maybe I'm just not paying attention when they make us watch the video before we go up, and because I'm over 100 kilos, they always make me sign the waiver,
Yeah. Interesting stuff with weight distribution too. When you do a tandem.
My first jump, I flew down to Austria to visit my brother and his wife. She's from Cairns, and we jumped over the Great Barrier Reef. I mean, it was one of the most beautiful things.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And our instructors, my big brother is bigger than me. And so we both signed the waiver or whatever. And both of our instructors are like, we have never pulled that fast you know, because we we
Yeah.
fell that
Yeah. Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. Crazy. That's the physics of it though, too. It's
Hmm.
mass. It's not necessarily
Right.
weight, it's body mass. And so you could
Okay.
have, a 300-pound person who's 7 feet tall just
Hmm.
gently float. 7 foot tall, 300-pound person because they're
They
taller.
take a
Surface
yeah.
area, you're gonna catch more wind. You have a 300-pound person
Oh,
who's 5 feet tall. Now it's a lot more mass, they're gonna drop, right? So you have two
yeah.
big people stacked together. That mass is gonna add. If you don't have any kind of surface area to balance that out,
Right.
you're gonna drop faster.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've noticed when a really large person, tall person, or heavy person goes to do a tandem skydive, they have a very small instructor that's doing the jump with
Yes.
them. So that's a whole thing too. It's weight distribution of the actual parachute, right? Because you're
Okay.
loading your mass into the free fall, fine, whatever. But now that
Hmm.
mass has to be captured by that surface area.
Got it. Okay. Damn.
Yeah, it's
So
cool stuff.
now, did you have a the segue away from skydiving as a profession anyway? Do you still jump every now and again?
No,
Or
so I was working for iFly for about we'll call it 10 years.
okay.
And by the way, answering the question is the same forces in the tunnel, right?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Wind is
close
hitting
that
you.
loop.
Wind is hitting you. Closing the loop. Yeah. Wind is hitting you, right? Instead of falling down and
Yeah.
hitting a static air, you're
Yep.
in a static position and wind is coming upward to meet you.
Okay.
So it's the exact same physics. You can learn all of your control in the wind tunnel to take out of a plane, right? So
Wow.
here's the segue is that I became a lead instructor.
Hmm.
I was, traveling around. I got to travel even more than I did as a DJ. I got to go to, China and Japan, all over the Caribbean, going on the Royal Caribbean cruise ships and training the crews out there. There's wind tunnels on the cruise ships, so I got to train those crews. So the segue
Wow.
is, okay, I became a master of something now. Here I want to do everything where I'm just like meeting that threshold as a DJ. Yeah, I've done it.
Mm.
Well, now just incidentally keeping my options open in my life, I became this master of this weird thing that will never get me a job anywhere else, first of all. So, all right, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with
Hmm.
this? Okay, I mastered something that I love. It's teaching. I love
Hmm.
teaching. I love teaching this thing.
Yeah.
And when I was teaching this thing, I got to meet students and clients that were from all walks of life. Ultimately,
Yeah.
skydiving. If you're not in the military and you're not uh, a skydiving coach, skydiving is very expensive to just do as a
Yeah.
hobby.
Let me ask you.
So I got,
I'm gonna interrupt you on purpose real quick, and we'll come back to
yeah,
it. I
yeah.
promise.
Oh,
The
I ramble
military.
on. Please.
Yeah. No. 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 You're great. You're great. The military part.
Yeah.
I've seen this a couple of times with as an air traffic control officer in the Marine Corps. We're very close to the aviation community at large. In that rigger school is in Pensacola, just as air traffic control school is. And correct me if I'm wrong, but as a rigger and anybody who jumps in military service, those jumps don't count towards your civilian ratings.
Oh, actually, good question. I don't know that.
Okay.
I didn't have a rating in skydiving to
Okay.
receive that knowledge, so to speak. I didn't get that
Got
far
it.
on the skydiving side because working at iFly, I became a lead instructor in the wind tunnel.
Mhm.
But my skydiving career, I didn't do any rigging, I didn't do any packing, I didn't do any of those jobs to
Okay.
know that. So
Got you. Okay.
I'm sure anyone
But you
more
but you
experienced
train
at
you
skydiving
train
itself.
you train the military
Oh
in the
yeah.
tunnel though, right?
Yeah, those are some of the coolest experiences I had was training different military groups, Army, Air Force, whatever. And
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
telling you I trained this Mexican Special Forces group who were just that was so cool working with these guys. But we had to black out all the cameras, black out everything, keep their identity secret. I
Yep.
still have to keep their identity secret. Super cool. at the end of their training, it was 8-month training session with us. We're there probably 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day, or 7 a.m. every day, somewhere around there. Just like overnight training, keep everything secret.
What kind of things are you doing with military assets in a wind tunnel that are obviously there's a lot of differences, but what are some of the predominant differences? Are they like in the tunnel with gear? What are you teaching them? Are you teaching them like Halo shit in the tunnel? Like,
Yeah.
Tell me.
Think about it like this. You said halo jump, right? What's a halo jump? It's a jump from atmosphere, high jump, right?
For anybody who doesn't know,
stuff.
Halo, HALO, high altitude, low open, is what that stands for.
Yeah, so you're coming in like a spaceship from outer space, jumping down, zooming all the way down, and then you're opening your parachute at a really low altitude to stay, under radar, under observation. You're sneaking in like a spaceship. So halo jumps, right? If you think about halo jumps, ultimately you're learning a skydive in a longer time period. The average skydive is about 55 seconds long of free fall. Halo jumps, I think Felix Baumgartner, don't quote me on this. Felix Baumgartner was the last guy to jump from atmosphere. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think so. I might be getting my names mixed up. It's been a while since I've been in the skydiving world, but jumping from lower atmosphere weather balloon jump. He's jumping down in a pseudo spacesuit. The free fall is 15 minutes long. Okay. So falling from the atmosphere, you're falling for 15 minutes when the average skydive is 55 seconds. So you're thinking, wow, 15 minutes, that's not very long. When you're feeling that wind, it's a long time. Okay.
Are you a Marvel guy?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, so all I'm thinking about is that scene when in Thor Ragnarok where Loki is just like, I just keep falling.
Oh yeah, so that's the wind tunnel. That's the wind tunnel, right? Same thing, because when you're in the wind tunnel, as a trainer, I was in there for hours. I'm jumping from outer space many times over every single day. So when you're talking about halo jumps, I'm like, I'm way beyond. Hey, I'm jumping from the moon every day. So yeah, we trained endurance because 15 minutes, not very long. An average skydive, you're going to be overwhelmed in an average skydive 1 minute. And not only that, because it's so many forces put on your body, you'd be surprised how much work it is to hold yourself in place. I was
going to
say,
right? Is there an element of fatigue that comes into play?
So much. That's the biggest thing, right? Fatigue. Just think about sticking your hand out the car window. Again, you can feel the wind. Well, imagine that across your whole body times 10. You have to hold yourself there. And if you hold yourself there in the wrong way, it's going to cause your body to move all over the place, just like your hand out the car window. And so in the wind tunnel, we're teaching the military, stay in place. If you're jumping out of the airplane and you don't have the frame of reference, you could be slightly moving off to the side, and you end up traveling miles out of range, right? If you teach yourself to stay stable, you jump out, there's the target, jump out, and you hit the target every time. So that's what training in the wind tunnel does.
Okay.
So yeah, we got in there before gear, we got in there with gear, we got in there if you're here and you need to pull your parachute. This is a crazy concept to think about. Your arms are sort of like wings. If you go to pull your parachute, you're immediately killing a wing and you just start spinning. So if you go to pull your parachute, you have to know how to fly your one arm as a wing, as a broken wing. That's a huge, scary point when you're jumping. You have to fly with a broken wing, pull your parachute, and then there we go.
Oh my God. Yeah. And I would assume for somebody who's learning, you could tell me that, but until it happens, you don't quite get it.
I've seen it so many times. Super stable. All right. This is the hand signal for pull your parachute. Go to pull your parachute and people go, all right, I got this. So many times. Like, all right, slow down.
Give me the funniest story of your time as an instructor.
No. Nah. So many times. I mean, students doing funny stuff, instructors doing funny stuff. I mean, we had a good time and there was meant to be fun. Like the things that people would do, it's just so overwhelming. So his name was Johnny Reno. Johnny Reno from New Jersey.
Oh, shit.
He walks in there. He's like, I'm bringing all my friends in here. We're going to skydive. And, oh, man, is that the thing? Is that the thing? Man, I thought it'd be taller. I'm going to fly up there. I'm going to do some like flips and shit. Like, all right, Johnny.
Ego. Here
let's get in there. Baby. Let's do some flips. He pays for his whole group. Nice group. He was a nice guy, too. He wasn't like an asshole, but he's just like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. We get him all suited up, get in the wind tunnel. He's like, I'm going first. I'm going to show him how it's done. I'm like, yes, Johnny, let's go, man. Let's go. Just knowing full well, like his body language, everything. Knowing full well. We get in there, skydiving position. As soon as we get in, he looks up at me, terror in his eyes, and he latches on. Just does this big bear hug around my body, and he's grabbing me and clawing me. Oh, my screaming. You can't hear anything, but I can hear him. So I hold him, this 250-pound bodybuilder, and I rock him gently, show him off to his friends. Here he is, and I take him out of the tunnel. And his friends were like on the floor. They're done.
Oh, like, my God.
Their whole day is over. They can't even breathe from their laughter. And he's like, oh, he gets out. And he's like, oh, did I do it wrong? Nah, man. Killed it. I'll never forget Johnny Reno. Yeah, we get out of the tunnel and he buys another trip for all of his 4 friends. He buys a second return pack to come another day. So I'm like, see you later. See you again.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But I mean, customers, like, it's such an overwhelming experience. One time I had this really quiet mom. Same thing. She flipped out and she was screaming, "Get me out! Get me out!" She had like full flight or fright panic mode. She gets out. She's trying to get out. She's clawing. She bit me. She bit me on the arm. She's like full animal. Get me out.
Oh my God, dude. It sounds like the same response people have when they're drowning or they jump in, they're immersed in water and can't swim.
It's just so hard to explain that experience, right? You've been out of a plane, so it's just like, whoa, that first thing. You can't describe that. You can't describe that at all. So we can say, it's, imagine submersing yourself in water, just stay calm. You're going to be able to breathe. You're not drowning, but people feel that their immediate sense is, I'm going underwater, and they start to hold their breath, and then they panic. That actually happens. They start to hold their breath.
Do you have the same? So again, in my novice experience, every single time I have this experience in that you jump, you have that pucker for what feels like 5-10 seconds. And then all of a sudden, at least for me, I reconcile from one moment to the next that no matter how this ends, I control absolutely nothing. And it becomes blissful and serene. And you become hyper present with the experience. And it is all things, everything, all at once. Beautiful.
That is it.
Do you experience that same thing in the tunnel?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Even more so because, that extreme sense of bliss. I tell this to people all the time. Oh, you're such an adrenaline junkie. I'm like, no. It's the most meditative experience you can have. When you hit that free fall, you can see the entire curve of the earth. You're up in space. You're flying. You're in the sky. The clouds are moving by. You're flying. That's the most peaceful, serene place. And then, of course, here's the key factor is the wind is passing by. So it's just, it's white noise, right? So people put on white noise to go to sleep. Just imagine the most beautiful scene. No matter where you jump, you could jump, Great Barrier
Mhm.
Reef, or you could jump out in Eloy over the desert, and it's going to be that same thing that just I can
Oh,
see
yeah.
the entire world. I am actually flying, and then right, the white noise coming through. It is the most meditative experience. So in the wind tunnel, same thing. You're in
Mm.
this fishbowl and everyone's staring at you. Not such a great view. You're in this fishbowl. But of course, I love being on stage, so I love everybody
Yeah.
looking at me. So I'm doing
Uh-huh.
tricks, but it's that flow state, right? In the
Mhm.
skydive, you're just everything's peaceful. In the
Mhm.
wind tunnel, after you learn a few things and you're learning tricks and you can move, I grew up in Lake Tahoe area, so I used to be a snowboarder. Imagine fresh powder. You're the only one on the mountain. You're going down, just the sound of the snow.
Mhm.
So I'm flying in the wind tunnel, doing dives and hitting that bottom and catching myself and letting the wind blow me back up. So
Yeah.
because of that pressure difference in the wind, it sounds the same to me. So
Okay.
flying up and down and turning,
Oh, man.
so peaceful. So you can
That's
lock in,
awesome.
like, it's, anytime you're having a bad day, you go fly, it's gone.
Everything goes away.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Holy shit. So how do you leave that?
Yeah, exactly. Back to the
You know?
segue.
Well, because you had a, we'll call it a negative experience that was the impetus for your transition away from music, that became your transition into skydiving. Now you're consciously choosing, I've achieved the level of mastery that I desire. What's next? Like the difference in those switching of gears, again, coming back to energy, right? It's time. And now, like, how did AI come to you?
Yeah, great. So ultimately, what I learned from iFly, here I have this mastery of the skill that does not transfer. What am I going to do?
Mhm.
Fall real good, but I can only fall if I'm jumping out of a plane, which is never going to happen in
Mhm.
everyday life. So what am I going to do? And so working at iFly, I worked the money to buy this place. I got a nice house. My life is starting to, after DJ, quote unquote, fill out. Not, I wouldn't say settle down, right? We talk about
Mhm.
settling down. I wouldn't say settle down. It's starting to fill out. Like I'm accruing
Mhm.
my personal wealth that I seek in doing everything. Right here, I
Mhm.
am. I got a
Yeah.
home base. I got this office. I can make these videos that I do on YouTube and stuff. So, uh, cool. I got a place. I have enough money to take a year off, so I took a year off. I went and traveled, decided, not to do anything. And I remember having conversations, just, when you leave a job, it's like, oh my God, I got to do something. What am I going to do next? What am I going to, you get fired. I don't know if you've ever been fired, but you get fired and it's like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? It's this panic, this overwhelming,
Mhm.
like, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose
Mhm.
everything. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So instead of having that feeling, I was feeling it just
Mhm.
naturally. You quit a
Yep.
job, that starts to come up. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I was very intentional with not doing that. Very intentional with taking a year off.
Mhm.
I'm not going to take a year off to figure out what I want to do. I'm taking a year off to have a year and do
Yeah.
everything. So
Mhm.
within that year, I was like, okay, slowly putting pieces together. What do I want? I want to do everything. What's my next step? What's the next?
Mhm.
What are the steps I need to take to do that? Well, I want to run my own business. I think the biggest motto I have, in Nico's presentation where we met, we're
Mhm.
talking about our vision, right? Our
Yeah.
vision. And I never knew, okay, my vision is I want to do everything.
Okay.
But putting it into more words, breaking it down over this year, I said,
Mhm.
okay, I want to do everything and I never want to work for a company ever again. That's it.
Yep. Mhm.
What are the steps I need to take? Well, step one, easy, start my own business. Well,
Mhm.
what do I want to start? I'm an artist that, can't get a job, and I am a skydiver that I can fall real good. What am I supposed to do? A DJ
Mhm.
that, can't get a job. Uh, what am I supposed to do? So I started thinking about, well, what are my favorite experiences from everything I've ever done? Not just skydiving, not just DJ, not just art. What are my favorite
Mhm.
experiences from everything I've ever done in my life? And that's
Yeah.
teaching, right? It goes back to my fallback. If I ever fail, my worst case scenario is I can be an art teacher. Well,
Mhm.
okay, imagine this is my worst case scenario. I can be an art teacher, or what else can I teach? Well, something I loved about skydiving was getting clients there from all walks of life, right? I mentioned it's not a very cheap sport. So we're having
Mhm.
all these, doctors and lawyers and entrepreneurs, and I flew so many sports players, right? So many NFL players, so many NBA players. I flew some of the Suns when I moved to here, Scottsdale, Arizona,
Mhm.
when the Super Bowl was here
Yeah.
in Phoenix. I had the Chiefs staying in my house, in this house. so so it was
No
funny.
shit.
Yeah, some of them,
Wow.
long story. I won't get in. I won't actually
Yeah.
won't get into this story, but I came back home and there were a few Chiefs players in my house getting massages in my living room. So like,
That's cool.
you know what? My life is crazy. I'm just gonna move on.
Yes.
So I don't need to know what's going on here. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move on. So
This is
yeah, I got to
happening.
fly.
All right.
I got to meet so many people from so many different walks of life, and especially in the wind tunnel, that had a common interest. And it wasn't skydiving; it was learning. How can I
Mhm.
meet everyone that I want to meet? Everyone. I want to do everything. Now I want to meet everyone. How can I do that? I can teach. Well, what can I
Mhm.
teach? What is happening? So here I am. I'm starting a couple businesses. I try to do an art business, just little side hustles here and there. Try to do an Instagram thing. Try to do a Shopify thing. All these things, and they're just failing. I'm not into it. Well, my years gone by, and these little side hustles aren't really working out. So now I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I drove to Mexico and I laid on the beach and I came up with this idea. Actually, Dallas had the same. We related on this because Dallas from AI Surfer, he's like, yeah, I just went to the beach in Mexico, did a little bit of surfing with my girlfriend, and had this idea. And I was like, I had one of those too.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
my idea is just like, I want to teach. What can I teach now to everyone that everyone needs to learn? AI. Boom,
Mhm.
easy. Everyone needs to learn AI right now. It's happening. If you're not learning it, you gotta,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just immediately, like, I cut my trip to Mexico short. I was just like, done. Let's go. I drove home right there that day, middle of the day, drove all the way back home and started my school community, started my YouTube channel that day.
Mhm.
Started teaching AI, which led into AI automation stuff, which is my favorite thing. Whatever part of my brain loves teaching, the same part of my brain loves the puzzle aspect, like
Mhm.
making things work, building things, right? So making things work, automation, AI automation specifically, and now the way things are going with AI and AI coding, vibe coding, GPTs, automation, all of this stuff.
Mhm.
Now it's just all coming together in this huge big bubble of a space that is super exciting, super exciting for me. So there's
Which
the segue.
brings us to the part of the conversation when we met that led to us getting on the mic.
Yep. Yep.
We
So
y- your frame of what's coming, what is, fascinates me, in that what I'll naively call the AI revolution that we're in right now is going to, if it hasn't already, create a redistribution of wealth, but not in terms of fiat currency or crypto or like tangible wealth, gold bullion, but more so it's creating a massive opportunity in which we now have the creative space, the resources to go pursue the things that we want to do. And what I took from that conversation is the old becoming new again, in that once upon a time in human history, we would barter for everything. I can fix your roof and I need a goat. Let's
yeah.
do a deal. Well, now, through the leverage of AI taking care of all the menial things, we're now able to, hey, I do this thing in leadership and character development. You teach this skill set that I wish to acquire. Now we can turn our skill sets into currency and make a transaction. Is that anywhere close to what you were describing when we met a couple of weeks ago?
It's close. It's close. It's very close. But
Okay.
this, it's so hard for me to even describe this. I don't think there's even words in English that could formulate my ideas on this, right? It's another thing I want to do. I want to learn every language because I want to do everything. Because just thinking about things differently, different words and different languages, I could formulate
Yes.
my ideas better.
Mm-hmm.
So my philosophy here, just like you said, in the past, society, when societies became society, we traded something for something, or then it became a skill for something. Then it became a token, a coin for a skill or something like that. And over time, we now have to pay taxes and be miserable every day. So we go to work to make money, to bring into our lives, to live, right? That's it. That's what we do. We go to
Yeah.
work, we make money, and we better our lives through that right there. That's it. Work, make money. How much money do you make? Okay. When we're, it's just this whole sense of worth, sense of value, the individual sense of value is based on what they do. When you meet somebody new, you say, "Oh, hey, good to meet you. What do you do?" Not, "Hey, good to meet you. Who are you? Who are you?" You say,
Yeah.
"What do you do?" Because a person's only value is what they do in society to make that currency to bring back, right?
Yep.
And so, I mean, just for generations, I can get into the the history and the politics and the downfall of humanity and whatever. But so what do you do, right? And so I'm trying to encourage people through the use of AI to reframe you. It's not what do you do, it's who you are. And that's why, before this podcast, I was like, don't introduce me as the founder or CEO of anything. I'm just me. I'm
Yeah.
Kirk. And what I do is irrelevant, but who I am is, let me show
Everything.
you, right?
Yep.
So what do you do? Okay, let's reframe that. It's not what you do, it's who you are. That's what's of value. And ultimately, I got two chains of thought here. Ultimately, oh, everyone, what if AI takes over? AI is taking our jobs. AI is taking over the world. What if AI takes over? What if AI takes over? And if AI can take my jobs and take over, right? What's left for me to do? It's kind of what we were talking about. What's left for me to do? Well, I can do anything I want. If AI goes to work for me, it takes my job and does my work, I can be a human again. Okay. I can just get out of that machine. It's not about what I do again, it's about who I am. So, how do we get there? This is the hardest bridge, the hardest gap to bridge is I was even talking to a software engineer buddy of mine. He's on the forefront of coding. He's one of the best coders, but he still doesn't understand this concept. And like I said, it's hard for me to even put it into words. It's not about what you do. It's not you having a job to get an income to live. It's about how we can redistribute wealth. Well, what is wealth? In this case, we're talking about money. How can we redistribute our currency, our tokens, what we value to exchange in our society? Money. How do we redistribute money? Okay. And obviously, people like, oh, you're trying to build, AI hacker bots and get into bank accounts. No, 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 no. Not trying to steal from bank accounts. That's not redistribution of wealth I'm talking about. Okay. When we talk about redistribution of wealth, essentially, if your parents hand you $100, that's redistribution of wealth. You didn't go to work to earn that money. How did you get that money? It was given to you. Who gave it to you? Your parents. Well, if you can think about an AI, just skipping ahead in the future, an AI that represents you your robot or your your system or an AI tool in the future that is representative of you
Mm-hmm.
goes and earns the money like your parents did and comes back and hands it to you, that's you just got some money. That's redistribute. You didn't go to work, you didn't do anything. Your AI went and did that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's bridge this gap. Currently, what I do to redistribute wealth is I go to work. Can't get around it. I still go to work. But in the
Mm-hmm.
future, I'm building systems that are going to implement, be implemented in government and hospitals, and my systems are going to move money into different places. These people are going to get paid by these people because of my system, and my system is now paying me because I built it and people are buying it to do that. Ultimately, if I build 20 different systems that are distributing wealth amongst other parties and I'm the inventor getting paid for that,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily, once it's done, I didn't necessarily do anything. That's passive income, so to speak, but that's
Sure.
moving wealth around. So if we can build systems, if we can build programs, if we can build robots that go and do the work,
Yeah.
we get our wealth. I can sit back and I can go paint because I want to, not because I have to.
Yes. Dude, I can totally see, because dude, I'm all in on everything that you just said from the perspective of, if AI took my job, what will I do? And the very simple answer being whatever I want.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that. I love that frame, because it
Yes.
is really, when you think about it, like from a philosophical standpoint, like oftentimes the simplest answer is the right one.
Yeah.
You
What's that?
know?
Occam's razor, right? Is that the
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you. I was searching for it. Whatever I want,
whatever you want?
you know?
That's what we were talking about too. That's another point I just remembered from our conversation at the AI
Mhm.
event was there's always going to be this. This goes back to my beginning conversations with artists. Like AI
Mhm.
art is so horrible. There's no human. It's destroying artists who spent their entire lives learning a skill, and now somebody can generate that. And like,
Mhm.
well, isn't that cool? Don't we want more art? First of all, don't we want more art? That's the point of humanity. That's why artists exist.
Yeah.
Tangent, right? But
Yeah.
there's always going to be people that want to do something, anything, right? There's going
Mhm.
to be artists that want to paint, even with all of this technology and all this AI art and generating art. There's going to be artists,
Mhm.
even with lawn mowing robots that mow the lawn and draw fancy patterns in the grass. There's still going to be people that like mowing lawns. There's still going to be people that like working on cars. There's still going to be people that like using heavy machinery and digging holes. I know this for a fact because I know people that love digging holes in a machine, right?
Mhm.
There's going to be people always. There's enough people on this planet. There's always going to be people that love doing these
Mhm.
dirty jobs, these hard labor jobs. They love doing it,
Yeah.
right? There's always going to be people that love doing it. And the only thing that's going to change is the very unsafe jobs, like the toxic jobs where you got to wear suits and go, masks. Those are going to be
Mhm.
hopefully
Yeah.
replaced by robots. Hopefully,
Mhm.
like that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, the robot took my deadly poisoning gas job. Oh my god,
Mhm.
that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, get out of there first of all. Anyway,
Yeah.
point is being that there will always be people that want to do everything,
Mhm.
everything there is to do in our society, digging
Yeah.
holes, painting, whatever. And so ultimately, AI takes your job, right? You're working at an office. You're working at an office. You're like, I fucking hate this job. I just want
Mhm.
to go mow lawns. I gotta stay here. This is my career. I
Mhm.
worked into this position. I gotta provide for my family. Okay, so AI takes your job. So then you go mow lawns. That's what you want to be doing.
Right. Right.
Just AI takes your job. So you're free.
Mhm.
Go mow lawns for money.
What you're describing is a transfer of wealth, of freedom.
Freedom. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
So often
It's
too, it's just
interesting.
my whole outlook on life of wanting to do
Mhm.
everything, getting to a point, moving on. Just I
Mhm.
want to do everything. It's
Yeah.
I tell people it's really easy to get stuck doing something you love.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get trapped
Been there.
doing
Oh,
something
yeah.
you love.
Yeah. Dude, when I sunset the gym, man, um, and, uh, got far enough away from the day-to-day, like, I was on a client call, and I got a call out because he's like, "Dude, I'm mid coaching." And he's like, "Dude, can I interrupt you for a second? I just want to, like, acknowledge the fact that you're doing the thing that you coach all of us to do." And that is rare in this world as a coach, right? And it's admirable that you're doing the courageous thing. And there's no doubt that a piece of you, his words, a piece of you died in letting the gym go. And now that you are moving in this direction and creating what you're building, it's really cool to see it come to fruition. And what's super interesting about that, bringing it back to AI, and I know you've experienced this in every phase of your life, where you at some point built something really cool that you thought was the bee's knees, launched it, debuted it, and people were like, I don't get it. And you're just like, fuck, man, what a letdown. And through this alignment assessment, we created a GPT AI integration. And like, dude, I'm like, my heart is just palpating. I'm going to show this to our clients, to our group, show them how it integrates, all that kind of
Nice.
good
Yeah.
stuff. And I think it is the coolest thing ever. And at the same time, I was like, this could fall so fucking flat, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And dude, it went off. What is
Nice.
what is so cool, you know, having these conversations, coaching them through it, integrating it, all that stuff. We've been doing it for years now.
Nice. Yeah.
Adding this element to it, I'm watching people in real time like recount the past lives lived in which their gut or their heart told them to do something and their brain came over the top and sabotaged it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
now in real time, we're able to put together what we call a peak performance plan, show them a description of who they are as their best self.
Yep.
And they get to now, it's like when you open Pandora's box in this way, you can't unsee it.
Yes.
And where the uncomfortable ownership comes from is, beyond this point, I now know in my conscious mind that whether this goes bad or gets better is all predicated on choices I make. Right. And I'm watching them take ownership of the process. And this is where coaching tends to fall short. I own the process, not Kirk. Right. Now, when Kirk owns the process, to your point about doing whatever I want to be your guide.
Yeah.
Now I get to guide you as you own this process. And dude,
Exactly.
if fitness is the foundation that we use as the gateway for leadership and character development, the fitness just falls into place now. Because now we're doing
Easy. Yeah.
the important work. Right. And dude,
Yeah.
I'm so
Overall
pumped.
health, fitness
Yeah.
falls into place when you're aligned.
Yes. 100%. You get it. You
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean? So, dude, it was not on accident that we sat next to each other at this event.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. And
Yeah.
like
I
I
know.
love.
You introduced yourself to me and I was just like, you brought up those names that we knew, the common people we know, like small world. Here we are sitting next to each other. All right, let's do this podcast. Let's see what else we can do together. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so cool. But dude, that frame, man, it
Yeah.
resonates so much with me. If like just do the thought experiment. You know, like how empowering is it to just simply surrender? You know, if AI took my job, what would I do? I'd go do exactly what I want.
What's that saying? It's if birds can fly wherever they want, why are they here? And then I ask myself that same question. That's the phrase, right? Ask yourself that stuff. It's important. You know, like you said,
Yeah.
your GPT, it builds that got confidence back into the ownership. You know,
Mhm.
this is what AI is doing. It's bringing humanity back. It's bringing that sense of self back, sense of self-worth back,
Mhm.
simply by saying, this is who you are. Remember? Remember
Mm.
that? I
Damn.
tell people this is what I teach, right? Children are the most ambitious people in the world.
Mhm.
I want to be an astronaut. I want to be this. I want to be that. What happens is life takes away, right? It's just
Mhm.
conditions, missed opportunities, circumstance, maybe even luck
Yeah.
takes away. You start with everything. You start with everything, and
Mhm.
life takes it away. So it's very easy to forget. You know, who did I used to be? What did I used to want? Am I proud of
Yeah.
the person I am now? You know, would my younger self be proud of the person I am now? Kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And so you build AI, you build these tools that can see that even
Mhm.
better. You know, if we talk about AI therapy and stuff in a lot of my circles, see that
Sure.
about yourself even more than a therapist. You know, I think therapy is for everybody, but there are
Yeah.
now AI tools that can do that. I mean, just
Mhm.
asking ChatGPT, like, how am I feeling? Well, tell me why I'm feeling.
Mhm.
So building these tools, you know, you building these tools and me building these tools, that's, you know, we're showing people that, right?
Mhm.
Your humanity, who you used to be, what makes you
Yep.
human, what makes you you know, relevant in this current time, in
Mhm.
in the universe, what matters to you. And oh yeah,
Right.
here it is. Here it is. Do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that's a perfect way to end it here, man. Where can our community find you, support you, learn from you?
Yeah, so you guys, I got the school community that is, I think it's on the ticker down there, digital automation diagram. For the most part, that is where I'm going to be teaching. I build automations, just showing people how to, you know, streamline their business, streamline their life, even just personal automations like organizing your email inbox, that kind of stuff. If you can just
Mhm.
start integrating, you know, speed and just a little bit of AI here and there into your life,
Mhm.
that's where I'll be helping people out. So
That's the move, man. Kirk, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the
yeah, man.
time, the space, and the energy, brother. Massive.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
Fun chat. It was really good. I'm having
All
a good
good,
time.
dude.
So,
Yeah, it's so good, man. We could keep it going. And we
yeah.
will. We're gonna do this again for sure. I have no doubt. We're gonna
Heck yeah.
circle back and catch up on what you've built next, right?
Right on.
For everybody listening today, remember we're here to build the fittest leaders through integrity, courage, and ownership. And if Kirk or anybody in our circle can support the highest and best version of yourself, reach out. Let's make that happen. We're here to expand the consciousness and build the fittest leaders. Until next time, guys, progress always.